The Senate Intelligence Committee has been investigating the use of enhanced interrogation techniques under the Bush administration. It's been a tumultuous ride if you've been following the day-to-day of it, with us finding out that the CIA is investigating the senators involved in it and things of that sort. Now, recently, just last week, the Senate Intelligence Committee voted overwhelmingly to get the White House to declassify parts of the investigation. And so they're trying to find out more that has up until this point been hidden, even from senior U.S. senators, about the use of torture. And as you're going to see, we've got dueling takes from an independent and from a Republican about what they think about this focus on torture and if this is the priority that the U.S. Senate should have right now. So first, we've got Liz Cheney, a woman who is not exactly totally disconnected from this issue, considering her relationship with Dick Cheney. But this is what she has to say about the investigation of torture.
I want to start by agreeing with Juan that we need more congressional oversight of Benghazi, for example. From what we've seen in terms of the press reports about this report, it was written entirely by Democratic staffers. As General Hayden said, nobody talked to a single CIA official who was involved in the program. Some of the press reports point out that the staffers relied upon the accounts of terrorists themselves, took those at face value in terms of descriptions of what had happened in the program. So this is a political report, which, you know, we've seen political reports in Washington before.
Yeah, so
wait, what? They relied on the testimony of the terrorists. Isn't that the whole idea of interrogating them?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but no, you can't trust a terrorist if he's just coming to you with information. But if he's doing it in response to you, like shoving bamboo shoots under his thumbnails, then you can trust what he's saying.
Then it's okay.
If he screams it in pain, it's obvious that it's, you know,
exactly.
it's
which of
good
course is
information.
absolutely belied by every study that's pretty much ever done on torture that shows that no, it does not work. You do not get more information. People will just say whatever they have to say in order to get the torture to stop. That's why it's torture.
Didn't we specifically in this particular situation talk about how the information we got didn't do us any good?
Yes.
I mean, she's talking about the exact situation when you hear it spoken so fluidly and so quickly, you go, wait, was this a different torture memo that I'm thinking about?
Well, no, that's the most frustrating part about this, because I feel like it's been debunked so many times. I don't mean by us. I understand Liz Cheney is not going to trust the Young Turks when it comes to torture, although I think that we've been using pretty reputable sources. But when John McCain says that you can't trust it, when former senior intelligence officers say that you can't trust it, that's incredibly unreliable, obviously because these people are trying to cause the cessation of the massive amounts of pain that are being inflicted on them. If that doesn't filter through Liz Cheney's political bias, I don't know what else we can say. And the problem is that she does have a platform in Fox News and possibly other networks as well, where she can just continue to repeat the facts that have been disputed and debunked so many times. And when you're talking about something as significant as the way we comport ourselves in this international war and the obvious consequences it has in terms of how people around the world, potential allies and potential enemies of ours, see us, it seems incredibly dangerous.
To me, I think there are a couple of things at work here with Liz Cheney. Obviously, the facts are not going to change her mind. She's got a very specific agenda that she's pushing. One also is to keep her dad out of jail.
Yeah.
Basically, he is a torturer. He authorized torture. He was the one that spearheaded torture from the Bush administration. We did torture. The United States tortured people because he spearheaded that and made sure that that happened. So I just, you know, it's a little bit mind-blowing that that's what the people around the world know of the United States, and we have to stop that, obviously. But not only is she trying to protect her father, but what really jumped out at me when she said was, how many lives are you willing, you have to say how many lives you're willing to risk if you don't go in and do these torture techniques. It's like, well, wait a second. In Iraq, how many lives was Dick Cheney willing to risk and George Bush willing to risk for going into Iraq on the basis of no weapons of mass destruction? So.
No, it's the...
No, in that aspect, they continue to create this scenario of certain lives are more important than other lives. We lost those 3,000 on 9/11, and we know how important that was. But we don't talk about the hundreds of thousands of lives lost due to the war that we started that had nothing to do with what happened. So you continue to create this unlevel playing field about how things actually happened and what did happen here. And my favorite part of this first clip of her is she brings up Benghazi quickly, you know, and we know that's the second, you know, rhetoric fatigue point that we're going to talk about today. But it sounds like satire. Benghazi, the real political issue, versus the political nature of this report about the CIA. And the CIA was spying on our Senate to see what they're gathering about us. There's enough information that's getting compiled. You can tell this looks fishy. I mean, you're supposed to brush aside and say, well, Democrats had something to do with this. Everyone that was writing it had an agenda. No names, no details based on that. It's just a bunch of talk to say, well, you know, this happened, that happened, and this happened. Stop talking about it.
She's becoming better as a correspondent for Fox, I think, if she can fit all that in that amount of time. And so you guys brought up that she said, you know, how many lives would you be willing to sacrifice by not doing this? And people love to defend what should be indefensible by using comparisons like that, or thought exercises like, well, you know, what if we knew there was a bomb in D.C.? Would you torture someone to find out where it is? Which is an interesting exercise because they think that they're proving a point when they give an example like that, but I can easily go just a couple steps farther. Okay, what would you be willing to do? Would you be willing to let a bomb go off in a smaller American city? Would you be willing to confiscate all of America's firearms? Would you be willing to shred the U.S. Constitution? How far would you, U.S. conservative, be willing to go for this? And I don't think that it means what they think it means when they say it. And I wish that someone would challenge them when they bring up ridiculous examples like that.